them away from me. I'm gonna get them back, Jay. But let's talk about lapis, because when we talk about your #1 top-selling gemstones, we talk about turquoise, and we also talk about lapis. You are especially known for bringing us top quality, premium, AAA quality when it comes to blue lapis, mined out of Afghanistan. We are looking at your choice of the earrings at $69.90, or we have the necklace at $134.90. So you choose which one you would like. We have limited quantity to go around. Jay, especially on this, I've never seen you do this combination of cuts.
Well, you know, and here again, the reason we can do this is this is brand new, by the way. This is the first time you've actually ever seen this design.
Yep, new piece.
This is the first release that we've had on this. And this is natural lapis lazuli. It comes out of the Hindu Kush region of Afghanistan. This is one of the exceptions to the rules where I can't go into this region and actually buy the lapis from the miners. And the miners aren't. There's not one big, huge lapis mine where they're sitting there and they're mining it. There's all the lapis that we get comes from very small villages in the middle of nowhere. There's no infrastructure. Literally all of this material is brought down on either horseback or mules, right, or they bring it in backpacks. There's no roads into this area. Wow. Running water in this area that all this lapis that we get comes from is if they have a stream. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, my gosh. Could you imagine?
They might have a community well. I've seen a lot of pictures. Like I said, I've never actually been into there, but I've seen a lot of photos. And we have friends, of course, that are, Afghanis. And, so they can go back in there and, and actually, the only way they can go back in there is because they have family. What's happening with the lapis world, and there are different lapis mines. A lot of the lapis you see that is commercially mined, that's different than the material that you see in jewelry, right? It's really low grade. And they do, harvest that they do have equipment. This is all, pick and shovel, the pry bars, basic. They've actually been mining lapis from these deposits. They can prove for over 3,000 years. When Marco Polo went from Italy and went to China, he brought a lot of different things back from China, right? He brought a tremendous amount of things with him. One of the things that he brought back was lapis. Really? And they've taken, if you take those artifacts of things that he brought back and they've actually chemically analyzed them, taken from the lapis from these regions, and it came from these exact same deposits. It came from these particular mines. Wow. So that's the history of lapis. And also, you don't find lapis all over the world. Lapis is, turquoise is kind of what we specialize in. We are definitely the turquoise kings. But lapis is rarer than turquoise. Really, for jewelry purposes, the Hindu Kush region of Afghanistan is where I would say probably well over 95% of all the lapis you see in jewelry comes from. There are small deposits in Chile that they actually put into jewelry, but if you think about this worldwide, now you do find specimens of lapis around the world, but actually enough material that they mine where they get enough bulk where they can, and of this quality, where you can make something, make a piece of jewelry. Just so everybody knows, it takes over 6 pounds of material.
Wow, just to create
one of these necklaces. Wow. It took us over 6 pounds of the rough stock.
That's a massive amount.
6 pounds of the rough stock. So you're saying that weighs 6 pounds? No.
No, that would be heavy on the neck.
But you have to start with 6 pounds of natural raw lapis material just to make one of these necklaces.
Right, and when you look at the custom cuts and you look at the beauty, the artistry of this piece, it lays beautiful on the neckline. That pop of blue is serene and tranquil, but still has such a nice depth and vibrancy to it that it does pop. And blue is that universal appealing color that looks great on everyone. Lapis, we love it. We love it because it looks like a night sky that twinkles and just is effervescent. It looks like the stars when you look up at the sky. You can see that pyrite. That is that pyrite. That's that AAA quality that Jay always talks about. And it's stunning to be able to get the earrings. The earrings are $69.90. The necklace is $134.90 as well. So we also want to share with you, with that being said, flex pays are available. This is brand new. First time you're getting